Yeah, so the ECG containers wait and say he missed, like he lost for the outboard there, the port there. Guess what? Mysteriously, I don't know. I don't know how container, like container keside. Where no be one, no be two. Like thousands, hundreds, containers. You say he missed, like me say he missed. He lost for outboard, like just like that. How?
In our first story, the Energy Ministry says it has retrieved more than 2,600 containers belonging to the Electricity Company of Ghana. This number represents about twice the number of containers presumed to have gone missing with their contents. And now let's get further details as Richmond Roxon joins us and he speaks for the Energy Ministry. Thank you. Good morning.
Yo, Charlie. What they go on, what they go on. Then echo. You are welcome back to the channel. Yes, you know Wagwan. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel and also Charlie. After watching the video, I beg, drop a comment in the comment section. Also like the video as well. Yo, Charlie. What they go on, Charlie? Things they go on. Things like the things they go on for the system inside, like lately, Charlie. No be joke. You the guy say sometimes they say some ECG containers being missed for the Tema Port there. You the guy that containers way Charlie come out say Charlie ECG what containers are you my offending. Mama papa let's have your mark in unya. Shout out going out to you, yes. Hey, offend chief. Yes, I see you. Yeah, so the ECG containers wait and say he missed, like he lost for the outboard there, the port there. Guess what? Mysteriously, I don't know. I don't know how container, like container keside. Where no be one, no be two. Like thousands, hundreds, containers. You say he missed, like me say he missed. He lost for a while, like just like that. How? So me as that story come or me as say Charlie, something fishy is fishing somewhere. But they say they find this in the containers. So yeah, containers where they say he lost for the outboard, the Tema Port there. They say them find out. And when I saw the story, like as I see the story, like it was funny me. I was just, I just had to, smile. Because I'm like, how can you come and tell us, say like containers for outboard loss? Like I don't understand. No be one, no be two, no be three. If you want to be two, I will put back that for you ordinary. Hundreds of containers like just miss like that for ports. How? So yes, then find the containers. I make I read the story. This story is from Nkokonsa GH. Yes, should I go out to Nkokonsa? Yes, you are doing the job. So 2,637 missing ECG containers traced at Tema Ports. Investigation reveals 2,637. Where are the kaya? That's number they take earlier on. Not matter what about earlier on, right? It wasn't up to 2,637 that I'm reading here right now. So it means that number have now be also. It wasn't an accurate number. Anyway, a joint investigative committee has traced a total of 2,637 previously unaccounted for containers consigned to the Electricity Company of Ghana. Far exceeding the initially reported 1,300. So as the story came out earlier on, the number that came was 1,300 containers. But as they investigate the thing with Charlie, then come say Charlie, some containers no be 1,300 and offending 300 containers. So it passed that number south 2,637. In an interview with 3news.com, the spokesperson and head of communication for the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, that's Richmond Roxon, said the containers were located at various terminals within the Tema Port. So not day one side, not day one terminal. The containers spread. I don't know if not somebody way should it won't hide for some later and will go carry and go in house or something. So according to the story, the investigation that they do, no, then see the containers for different terminals for the Tema Port there. According to him, the probe, led by a committee comprising National Security, the Ministry of Transport, Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and Customs, discovered the containers as of April 30, 2025 at the following locations. Remember locations. Send me your locations. They see 860 at Meridian Port Services. Then see 1,237 as GPA terminals. Then see 272 for national security. 272 have already been evacuated by national security. 194 at Amaris terminal and 20 at Atlas manufacturing terminal. So now, how before they don't see that containers? Like that be the question me at the one base. So earlier on, where was the containers? How containers will come day ports, then you say the containers like they find them. Let me be honest here. I don't know how the port operated all of that, but I'm sure I know say like if your container come, they have something where they go take what's wreck them. I sure parents say like if your container they come or maybe what be so they okay, this for Kwame Atta, this for Arabata. So how you will get containers like numbers of containers? You say they find out for the port there. But they play the come. As we see the containers, we will see who was behind it getting missing in the first place. As we see the containers, they play cam, we will find we already the country inside, Abby. We go Charlie. Whoever is in charge of this, committee investigating, Charlie, beggars going out to yourself. The work now they do. See, let's put politics aside there. Okay, anyway, make I don't talk politics. Where I come from, if I anyway, yeah. So Charlie, this be what they go on. The containers where they say he lost for the ports, the Arbon, they say they see ECG. So this the former MD for I think ECG or something. I think he has now been vindicated or say okay. We used to be one. He said that he is vindicated or say something like that. Ex-ECG MD vindicated as missing ECG containers mysteriously they mysteriously reappear at Tema Port. So yes, that's Mr. Samuel Dubik Mahama. Yes, that is a former MD for the ECG. Yes, as the case come, I be now be in way Charlie. They manage the place, like they manage the company. So it be matter way Charlie now they trend while like people they talk in matter left, right, center. So as now the containers come back, your man to him have come, Charlie. I mean they blame you, say Charlie, you they behind this so. So as now the containers with the claim say they know they find then see they say your man he has been vindicated. So now later on
and I thank you for joining us this morning. And so let's get some clarity. The Daily Graphic actually reported, and as well, we're also confirming that it's a little over 2,000 that you confirm that you found. This is quite a double of what we earlier heard was gone missing. What's accounting for this number?
Good morning to your viewers. Let me just take your step to put the matter in perspective. You'll recall that in December 2024, during the transition period, the previous administration furnished some information to the incoming government, as the current government, and that what the previous administration provided was that ECG had over 3,000 containers at the ports which had not been cleared. Fast forward, when the Minister of Energy assumed office, his engagement with the ECG was informed that ECG had about 2,500 containers at the port. Due to this discrepancy, the minister set up a committee to investigate these issues. upon visit by the committee, we also emerged that 2,300 of these containers unaccounted for. The government set up an agency comprising national security, the Ministry of the port to investigate and take steps to retrieve these containers. Based on the committee's work, I can confirm to you that 2,637 of these containers have been traced, and at the Ministry possession of 2,583 containers, which are safe custody at the port at the moment.
Okay, Richmond, if you can just reposition yourself so I can hear you clearly. So this little over 2,600 containers, you'd confirm that it includes the 1,300 that earlier was reported. Is it inclusive?
Yes, it includes that. Initially that was what was reported, but upon the verification and validation, the total number stands has been retrieved is 2,637.
Okay. Richmond, and so at this point, who didn't do what's right? Is it the briefing the minister had that it was 1,300, or we just jumped the gun just a little, because the difference is a bit wide, and so I'm just trying to understand how now we're finding 2,600 when initially we reported that 1,300 had gone missing.
The initial assessment was based on the briefing the minister had, and because the minister was not too convinced, the minister decided to set up a committee to investigate that. So, but for the committee, we wouldn't have these figures that we are talking about. Let me take the opportunity to also thank the people of Ghana. There are people who volunteered information for the committee, and the once don't pass number that were even that initially. They also suggest that there's a possibility that more system investigations continue. So that's why investigations are still continuing. Beyond investigation retrieve, there are also criminal investigations to make sure that those who are in charge are liable responsible for their acts. I can confirm that some staff have stepped up friends who from the have also spoken to matter. The former of
I'm not sure. You're breaking. Otherwise, we really would love to hear the clarity, but you're breaking and we can't hear you. We'll try again. So this 1,300, it came from the committee first. The
1,300 missing containers or unaccounted for containers came from the initial committee set up by the minister. What this current committee, made up of national security, port, and the other agencies have done is to trace the containers.
Okay.
And that is what, at this point, is 10,637 have been found.
Okay, out of the initial number, which is about 3,000 or a little over 3,000, right?
In fact, that is what we're informed. The initial number from the transition was 3,000. The number put out by ECG was 2,500. And that is why these investigations are ongoing to retrieve all containers in the system.
Okay. So the committee, what are they doing? Auditing or investigating particularly?
Both. But the investigation comprises of a number of things. Auditing, verification, tracing, validation. All that is being done by the committee.
Okay. So subsequently, any number, any information that you relay will be coming from this committee?
Yes, any information relayed by the ministry will come from the committee or the general public. If anybody has any information concerning that, why not? The ministry is ready and willing to take the information and act on it or refer it to the committee for it to be investigated. And I said, this matter is still being investigated by national security.
Okay.
And with time, the Attorney General takes steps to advise it on the way forward, and then take steps to if the AG finds that people have questions.
Okay, so this 2,600 containers so far, you can confirm that the contents that is in there is intact?
Point no. So there is a directive from the Chief of Staff that the content of these containers should be taken. There should be an inventory so that we can know exactly what is contained in these containers. That has not been done yet. The directive was issued by the Chief of Staff recently. That will be done, and then whatever the results are, will put out. Chief of Staff has also directed that once you find, once the audit or the inventory is done, because of the peculiar nature of ECG's operations and the fact that they will need some of these materials, it should be moved from the port to ECG safe warehouse so that they can use it. Some people are complaining that they have electricity challenges, even though our generation exceeds demand. Once it has to do with some of these materials that they will need, definitely it will be better for it to be handed to them. But like I said, it doesn't mean the investigations have ceased or it has ended.
Okay, so far the 2,600 containers that we're learning that we've just found, we found them in the port as well. What was the challenge? Why? I mean, I can appreciate that you said that the numbers are quite conflicting in the initial stages, but this 2,600, were they in the port, outside of the port, around the port, behind the port? What's the report saying?
So for the 2,600 that have been audited, there are some that were outside the port. There were some that were located in the port. And on your question on what was the cause of this, one of the challenges that the committee realized has to do with procurement. The procurement system or policy in place for ECG is a very challenging one. They procure goods, data that they have does not match the goods they procured. And among these 2,600, there are instances where ECG's data, we found containers that were not part of ECG's data. And there are instances where the data ECG provided, the containers were not there to show for it. So those are some of the challenges, but investigations are still to ensure that it's done.
Okay. Give me a little update on the 40 that was traced when we reported the 1,300 that had gone missing earlier in March. There were 40 that we said that were traced. What's the update with that? And if we have any persons as well whom you have started investigating?
I didn't get the initial part of the question, but if you are speaking about investigations, like I mentioned earlier, former managing director for ECG has been invited by the National Security. His cautionary statement has been taken, and investigations are still ongoing. Some staff of ECG have been asked to step aside pending investigations, and then other persons who have some duty of care when it comes to this matter have also been questioned. So investigations are still ongoing. We rely solely on the investigative agencies and the Legal Attorney General to give an advice and on the way forward.
Okay, I was actually asking particularly the 40 that was traced initially when we heard about the 1,300 that had gone missing.
Yes, the 40 is still, yes, the 40 that was traced and found at the warehouse of some Indians. It is also part of the investigation that is being conducted.
Okay. Okay, so far we don't have new persons who have been arrested in connection to that particular 40 containers that was traced earlier.
Many people have been invited for various reasons. I don't want to put out specific names. That will be the work of the investigative agencies and the Attorney General.
Okay. So far, just for the clarity of the public, 2,600 traced. This 2,600 includes the 1,300 that was initially reported. If you put this together, it will be part of the very initial number, a little over 3,000 for your initial briefing during the transition period, correct?
Yes, your mathematics is right. And that is why the committee believes that investigations must still continue. But if you mentioned 3,000 and so far, the numbers appear to suggest that we choose more than that or anything close to that, definitely the investigations must not stop.
Okay, which means that we're still missing a few, and that's why the investigation as well is still continuing.
We cannot say categorically, because if we had the data, and if we knew we're dealing with 5,000 containers or 3,000 containers, it would have been easier to do what to put to make the statement you just made. But once you are finding more containers than some of the figures that have been given by the institution itself, then it raises the question of whether or not the data being provided is credible.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Richmond, for talking to us this morning.
Charlie, what they go on, things they go on, as they go on, yes, we will come tell you, you understand. My name is Ebo Cute, the guy with the cute lifestyle. If you have watched the video, see, listen, make you don't make a talk plenty, I beg. If you have watched the video up to this point, you know what? Just subscribe. Drop a comment about this, containers mysteriously reappearing at the Tema Port. You can drop a comment about this issue. What you think about it? Share with us in the comments section. And also make sure that Charlie, you like the video, put us on post notification after subscribing, so that anytime we drop a video on your Charlie, you will come and check it out. As usual, I'll see you in the next video.